Poodles are some of the most beloved breeds of dogs, and it really isn't a big surprise. They're pretty versatile, love to be around people, and they're also pretty smart. But finding a rescue poodle that's perfect for you can be a chore. So we've compiled a list of 10 helpful tips to make your search as seamless as possible. Let's get right into it. We know you can't wait to snuggle up with your new furry buddy, but before you head to your local shelter, you should probably make sure you've got all the necessary things checked out. So, to make it easy for you, here are a couple of things you should keep in mind when adopting a new poodle. The first thing you might want to consider is the size of the poodle you'd like to adopt. You see, many people don't know this, but there are 3 different types of poodles. There's the standard poodle, which is usually between 18 to 24 inches tall at the shoulder. Then there's the miniature, which can grow to about 10 to 15 inches tall. And of course, the squishy toy poodle, which is usually no more than 10 inches tall. Whichever you decide to pick is totally up to your preference. If you have a large yard and you're looking for a dog to take on wild adventures, such as hunting or retrieving, a standard poodle will be perfect for you. But if your space isn't quite as big and you need more of a simple house companion, then consider getting a miniature or toy poodle. The second question you should ask yourself is if you have the time to take care of these fluffy, puffy creatures. Poodles are some of the most beautiful breeds of dogs, which means taking care of them is a lot of work. You should already know that instead of fur, poodles have hair, which means they'll need to be groomed regularly. As a matter of fact, it's not uncommon for a poodle to have 2 scheduled visits to a professional groomer's office every month. So, before you make that decision, ask yourself if your job or other commitments will not get in the way of your dog's care. Apart from the scheduled professional grooming, your poodle may also need daily grooming, which you'll need to be responsible for. Keep this in mind before you make your decision and ensure you're ready to invest as much time as it requires to take care of your poodle. Poodles are pretty social and love spending time with their beloved dog parent, so you may have to adjust your schedule to make way for playtime. The third thing you might want to consider is closely related to the last one, and that is the question of your financial commitment. Apart from the fact that they require a great deal of care, poodles are also quite expensive to adopt in the first place. You could find yourself coughing up between $500 to $1,000 or even more, depending on the organization you're working with. Then, of course, there's the medical care. Dogs get into all kinds of accidents, and their medical bill isn't necessarily cheap. You don't really want to look at yourself in the mirror after having to let go of your pets because you can't take care of them. Getting a poodle isn't a decision you should rush into. It's like having a baby. It takes a great deal of financial investment to be able to adequately cater for your poodle. So, take your time, check your budget, and when you're ready, go get that forever companion that's perfect for you. The type of poodle you choose to adopt should also depend on what your living conditions are, and that's the fourth thing you should consider. If you live in an apartment, you may want to consider a miniature or a toy because they like to run around and play ball. But when they're restricted to a small space, they tend to get wound up, and you don't really want that for your furry companion now, do you? Standard poodles also enjoy fun outdoor activities like hunting and others, so make sure your new pet will feel perfectly at home with you. The fifth tip to make your journey to poodle parenthood easy is to consider your kids when making decisions about your new pet. That is, of course, if you have kids. This is because kids of all ages love poodles, and the feeling is often mutual. This is particularly essential if this is your first dog. But even though poodles love kids, they also love to grow up with them, so keep this in mind before saying that big yes. The sixth tip that will help make your adoption process seamless is to get in touch with your local animal shelter. The wonderful folks who work in these facilities develop a relationship with these dogs the moment they come through the door. So you should get as much information about your new poodle before you take the final step. Ask questions, dot every I, and cross every T. This can be very instrumental in the quality of the relationship you have with your new dog. Let's face it, poodles are pretty hard to find, so you may not necessarily find your perfect companion in your local shelter. But don't fret, there are other options available, and that's our number 7 tip. Go online. There are many websites and social media forums where you and your new pet can find yourselves. Check for details about their past homes or living conditions, and in no time, you'll find the poodle mix that's perfect for you. Even though you probably have a dream poodle in mind, there is a need for flexibility in your search for your next fluffy friend. For tip number 8, you should be prepared for disappointments and know that you may not essentially find exactly what you're looking for. Outline your expectations and make them very, very wide. Ensure that you don't fall in love with a perfect picture so you can remain open to other options, just in case you don't find the perfect dog. Keep an open mind and an open heart as you search for your new fuzzy friend. Tip number 9. In your search for a rescue poodle, patience is one of the greatest virtues. As we said earlier, you may not necessarily find exactly what you want right away, so you need to stay patient in your search. Your pet has the rest of their lifetime to spend with you, so take your time, so you can be able to give them the love and affection they deserve. Frustration often leads to mistakes, and even though you should be ready to compromise, this doesn't mean that you have to settle for less. Your pet is going to be an integral part of your life, so choose them patiently. Our final tip will be to take things slow and steady with your poodle when you finally find one. You know you want to cuddle up in bed with your warm, fuzzy buddy, but that's probably not advisable on their first day home. Allow them the time to get to know you, your family, your home, and your neighborhood. Respect their privacy. Give them their alone time, while showering them with as much love and affection as possible. If you have kids, introduce them to your pets and allow your poodle to warm up to them. Sometimes you'll be lucky and they'll hit it off right away. But sometimes your new pet might take a while to get used to a new environment. But you need to understand that rescue dogs often face separation anxiety when they're removed from an environment they've become familiar with, which in this case is the rescue center, or whatever adoption agency you pick them up from. Give your pet the chance to get close to you without neglecting them in the process. Finding the perfect rescue poodle can be a lot of work, not to mention the hefty financial implications. But in the end, it'll all be worth it when you finally bring home your pet and give it a new family to love forever. Good luck in your search, and we hope you find exactly what you're looking for.